Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Amy, and today we are going into my story, the whole story. So from how I got out of where I was to where I am now. With that being said, if you have any experience with traumatic events or you are triggered by listening to other people's trauma, please do not watch this video and don't watch it around your children. Growing up, I did not know my biological father, and it had a negative effect on me. I always wondered who I was. I wondered what he was like, why he didn't fight to be in my life. And I just felt very unloved. So my self-esteem was already kind of low from a young age. When I was 4 years old, I was sexually abused. It lasted for 4 years. When I was 8 years old, I was sexually abused again. It was a one-time thing with that person, but it still had a very strong negative impact on me. When it comes to sexual abuse, it's usually done by someone that the family knows and the children trust. It's usually a secret because that's what the abuser wants. And they make you feel like it's your fault, probably so you won't tell. If you have been through something like this, I am very sorry. It is a very hard thing to overcome, but it's possible. I felt dirty. I felt hate and anger. I felt guilt. I felt like it was my fault and I was the one to blame. It is not your fault. You did not ask for that to happen to you. I also felt guilty for not telling. I carried it around for a very long time. I felt like it was my fault if others were being abused by the same person who did it to me because I didn't say something. And it took a long time to get over that guilt. In high school, I was still pretty self-loathing. I still didn't like who I was. I got into a relationship for 2.5 years with a person that mentally abused me. I started to believe the lies because they were lies I was already telling myself. If someone you know, or if you have been in a relationship like that, it does not matter if they have high self-esteem or low self-esteem. Once you start hearing those lies over and over and over, it breaks down your thoughts up here. And that's how it gets in. You start to believe the lies. And that's how they get you trapped. Because they make you feel like they're the best you're ever going to get. No one else is going to love you. How could they? They're lies. The hardest thing to take away from something like this is the fact that you have to learn how to forgive someone without an apology. Most of the time, sadly, in cases like these, you're never going to get an apology from any abuser. They don't think that they're in the wrong, even though they are. Forgiveness does not mean that you accept what happened to you. It does not mean that you think it's okay. It does not mean that you forget what happened to you. It's always there. It never goes away. I wish I could tell you that it does, but it doesn't. It gets easier over time. And if you have the right tools, you can overcome it. But it takes a long time to get there. When I was 16, I met my now husband. That poor man has been through ups and downs with me and all around, and for a long time I was afraid that he was gonna leave. I was still believing the lies from my past. I still had a lot of issues with my self-worth, and I still hated myself. I don't think he really understood what I was even going through because I couldn't talk about it. I couldn't bring myself to talk about it. So instead, I would just stuff down my emotions with food. And I ate whatever I wanted. I did not care. Then we got married. One of the happiest days of my life. And I was still a mess inside. I still hated myself. I still used food as my crutch to combat the negative emotions because I didn't want to deal with them. Then I became pregnant, still eating whatever I wanted. I didn't care. Had the baby, decided I should probably do something. Got healthy, or so I thought. I was on Atkins, still trying to deal with my inner self-talk because it wasn't pretty. I mean, they were things I would never say to anyone, and I was saying them to myself. So Atkins worked for a little while. I lost 25 pounds in the first couple months, but I was still eating food that wasn't so great. I wasn't looking at ingredients. It was just low carb, and I thought that's what we had to do, so that's what I did. So I stalled out. I ended up having a miscarriage in between the two kids. No one really talks about miscarriages either. So I was super naive. I was so naive. For anyone that has ever told me that you've had one, I am very sorry for your loss. And I'm sorry that I came across probably as cold. I wasn't trying to be cold. I was just really naive about what your body goes through. I thought one day you were pregnant and the next day you weren't. I had no idea of the physical and mental things that happen. No one ever talks about it. I really think that we need to break the silence for the harder subjects. Another reason why I'm making this video. So I slipped back into a depression, continued eating whatever I want, got off of low carb, and I gained all my weight back. I got pregnant again, had another baby, and then I knew I had to do something. So I got back on Atkins. It did not work the way it did the first time for me. But again, I'm still eating unhealthy, not looking at ingredients, the whole enchilada, right? Like everything. And then I found a community, Love Sweat Fitness, online. I signed up for their Summer Shape Up Challenge last year. Met some wonderful people, really great encouragers, and I started to love myself again and what my body could do for me. I was still doing Atkins. I wasn't really losing weight. I was kind of just staying the same, but my body was starting to change because I was being dedicated to what I was doing. I was actually following through with something, which wasn't typical of me. I finished my first fitness challenge ever. It was 2 months long. Yay me. And then I found a book called The 131 Method. And man, did that open a lot of doors for me. I'm still working on myself. I feel like we're always working on ourselves, you know, even if you get to the point where you're really happy with where you are, you still have to work hard to stay there. and be happy, because you don't want to slip back and fall into old habits. I can honestly say I am no longer addicted to food. I do not use it as my crutch anymore. I have learned to forgive those who have done me wrong without an apology. That doesn't make it okay. What they did is still wrong. And I will always have that. I will always have the trauma. Unfortunately, it's just a part of who I am, but it doesn't define who I am. It's just a part of my story. You can let things like that make you, or you can let them break you. And I didn't want to stay broken. I didn't like that feeling. I felt like garbage. Probably because I was eating garbage and not taking care of myself. It doesn't really numb the pain. The snacks didn't really make me feel any better. Maybe for a slight moment in that time frame, but you're just trying to put a band-aid over the wounds instead of actually healing them properly. I'm sure I will always have a scar from the things that have happened in my life. But I can honestly say today, I love who I am, and I love the life that I've created. And I never thought I would get to this point, ever. I know it's scary to work on yourself. I know it's scary to admit what you think is holding you back. It's scary to really dive in and feel those emotions and let them run through you. But it's possible. And it's hard, but it's so worth it. You're worth it. You have to fight for your own happiness because no one else is going to do it for you. And the only way to be truly happy is if you're happy with yourself. You can't put that happiness on someone else or something else. You have to be happy with who you are. That's how it starts. You need self-love. You need it. For a long time, I blamed my husband for me not being happy, and it wasn't his fault. It was my own. I was in the way of my own happiness. He's supposed to be there to complement it. It's not his job to keep me happy. That's my job. So the key takeaways that I want you to get from this video is that you can be happy. You can heal your wounds. It takes a long time. You can forgive those that have hurt you without an apology. Like I said, it does not make it okay. You don't have to be a victim of your past. You can be a survivor. You can wear that scar proudly. And you should. Being through something like that is not easy. Sharing stories like this is not easy. But it's worth it. Your happiness is worth it. Being able to say that I love myself, I never thought I would be able to say that. But it's true. It's true now. It's genuine. I'm real. I have real raw emotions. I have a raw past. It's not a pretty one. I'm not proud of some of the things that I have done while I was trying to heal, but I'm not that person anymore. I'm completely different, and I've transformed myself, and you can too. And if this video is speaking to you right now, and you need someone to talk to, or you need tips or help or anything, I am here. I'm here. Please reach out to me. I do understand where you're coming from. I have been through a lot. And your past does not define you. It's just a small piece of who you are. Very small. Minimum. You can rise above it. You can overcome anything. It all starts within here, guys. What you tell yourself. It's so important. Forgiveness and self-talk. Super important. Thanks for watching. I hope this video reaches the right people. I hope that you can learn to love yourself and to let go of all of the negative feelings that come with traumatic events like this. I hope you can learn to forgive others, even when they don't really deserve forgiveness. It's one of the hardest things that you will ever have to do, but it is so worth it. And you'll know when it's done because you feel completely different on the inside. It's crazy. It's crazy. There's always hope. And there is happiness after something like that. So again, thank you for watching and for your support. And if you need anything, reach out to me. My Instagram is linked to this account as well as my email address. So take care of yourselves, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye.